Respected Prabhu Chawla ji, editorial director of the New Indian Express, respected Lakshmi Menon ji, director and chief executive officer, the New Indian Express, thought leaders, academicians, educationists, members of the New Indian Express family, and my dear students. அனைவருக்கும் எனது மனமார்ந்த காலை வணக்கம். At the very outset, I would like to thank the New Indian Express management for giving me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful education conclave, which I believe is 14th in the series, as Prabhu Chawla ji just mentioned. Friends, whenever we think of Indian Express, New Indian Express, a name rings in our mind, and that is the name of great Nath Goenka ji. A great champion of fiercely independent journalism. He took on headlong with the powers that be in his time. Whenever the question was to choose with the truth or play music to the ears of the powers that be. Obviously, he chose the path of truth. We all know him for that, we remember him for that. But he was also a very great champion of nationalist education. Born during the colonial period, he fully understood the downside of colonial system of education. How the system of education was designed for building a compliance culture. Order is given, you comply. It was to ensure the smooth functioning of the empire, running of Bharat as a colony. It was designed to colonize our mind, to emasculate the critical thinking, creative thinking of every Indian who went through the process. So he was a great champion of nationalist education. And this education conclave, being held for the last 14 years continuously, which is a credit, by the New Indian Express group, is carrying on the legacy of that great man, Sri Nath Goenka ji, to build nationalist education. I commend and congratulate the top management and all those who have been associated with it in running this conclave year after year. I'm sure it is giving impetus to thinking, alternative ways of thinking, how to make our education far more productive, meaningful, purposeful. Friends, for a very long time, even after independence, we continued following education policy, which was essentially a continuation of the same. In between, we had two education policies, one in 60s, another one is 80s, 1980s. But these were essentially tinkering with the system, as if the whole system is okay, it needed a bit of touch here and there. It did not think how our youth, our people, should be thinking critically, be creative, rote learning, earning certificates, and then making a beeline before the employment exchange or with the offices for getting a job. That was the characteristic of all our education, all through over nearly 7 decades. For the first time in the history of independent Bharat, an education policy was designed with participation of all the stakeholders, large number of them, from all walks of life, not only from academia, from industry, from farming community, from people in the social service, all walks of life, the entire spectrum of life were participant in framing this National Education Policy 2020. And this truly makes the watershed, or is the watershed, in our national education ecosystem. The theme of this conclave is Education for Vixit Bharat 2047. I think nothing could be more appropriate than this. Because when we think of Bharat, education and Bharat, and when we talk about Vixit Bharat, a developed Bharat, not just developed as at a distant time frame, but with a focus that by the time our nation celebrates centenary of independence, Bharat must be a fully developed country. Is this just a wish? Is it just an aspiration? No. My friend, it is not a wish, neither just a mere aspiration. It is a necessity. Because if we do not reach that point in the time frame, the short 2.5 decades, less than that time frame, then the consequences will be disastrous. Because the way the world is changing at pace, it is not the age for incremental growth, incremental development. We have to leapfrog. There has to be a revolutionary approach to our education, and that revolutionary approach is embedded in our National Education Policy 2020. For some people, they believe that perhaps they ask a question, is it realistic? Is it possible that we will be fully self-reliant and developed country in the next less than 2.5 decades? Is it possible? I would say that, first of all, it is possible. Not only it is possible, as I said, it is a necessity. There is no alternative. And when we say it is possible, it has to be done. I think it is important that we draw upon our past, how Bharat was for a long, long period of time. Friends, for over 2,000 years, or if you say the recorded, then at least 2,000 years recorded history, Bharat had been the economic powerhouse of the world. when you read the Herodotus Historia, which is written about 400 BC, he mentions about Bharat economy. In fact, there are very strange writing in that book. Historia, in fact, he is considered father of modern history. The way history have been written thereafter, which is largely European mode of writing history. It is Herodotus. Our textile export was so heavy that he has dwelt upon it significantly, and he mentions in Bharat, in Hind, sheep wool grows on trees. They had no idea of cotton. Sheep wool grows on trees. Our textile export or textile industry and related export was so vibrant that if you look at the debates and discussions in the Roman Empire Senate, invariably, when the empire financial balance was getting disturbed, attention used to be on Bharat, heavy import from Bharat. I am reminded to mention what Cicero, then the Chancellor of Exchequer of Roman Empire, in the Senate in about 70 BC, he mentions when the finance of the empire was in a bad shape, he makes an appeal to the people of Rome or Roman Empire. He says, look, we are in a distressed situation. And distressed situation because there is so much heavy import from Bharat. And then he quotes one example. He says, we have to pay 20 million gold coins to Bharat every year to satisfy the fanciful needs of our aristocratic ladies, because the fanciful garments are imported from India, which is about 20 million gold coins they had to give. This was our textile industry. Our metallurgy, iron and steel, was the best in the world. Herodotus also records that how the weapons made out of iron coming from Bharat, India, Hind, was the best, was the superior weapon. It used to be called Jababe Hind. And the troops which had those weapons, swords, and lances made out of iron coming from India, those were supposed to be superior. We don't have to go back so far, so way back. Here our Chennai archive is one of the richest archives in the country. And I hit upon a document here when I was diving through it. 1840, Sheffield, the British Iron and Steel Company, they had sent 1,000 metric ton of iron to Madras port. They were exploring markets of India. And months later, when the company got to know that nobody had bought the iron, then the company wrote a letter to the Governor Madras. And reply of Governor Madras was, Madras presidency at the time, whole entire of South and more, is very interesting, it's very revealing. Governor Madras reports, here nobody will buy your iron. Why? Because iron making is a cottage industry here in this country. Iron making is a cottage industry. British did the survey and they found that all over Bharat there were over 10,000 smelting plants for making iron. Local needs they used to make 1 metric ton, 2 metric ton, half a metric ton, depending on the needs. So first, iron is a cottage industry. And number two, the quality of iron made here is better than the quality of Sheffield. They sent their engineers, they sent their team. It is all there in archives. They studied here for over 5 years, learned the technologies, went back, improved their quality, and by order of the company and later by the British government, they closed our oil smelting plants. We were leading in metallurgy. Our chemical industry, we were the suppliers of colors, indigo, leather made out of processed through chemicals. In fact, when the company was trading, they had a problem. The ships coming from London and other European, like Dutch and all, traveling all the way, they were not seaworthy enough to reach in one go to Bharat, because the bottom of the ship could not withstand the corrosion of the water, saline water. And then they drew upon the knowledge of Indian ship industry, that Indian shipfarers were traveling for long, long distance. They came here, they learned how. In this country, experts used to treat the wooden floorings of the ship with chemicals which could withstood salinity of the seawater for a long, long time, and it would travel. Our medicine, I think we all know that. We were the leaders. In all these walks, in all this technology, agriculture, again, from the archival material, I have seen, it is there. And those of you who do not wish to go to the archive and yet you are curious to know about it, then there is somebody, a great man, Dharmpal, has done the work easier for it. He has spent his lifetime in the British archives in London and he has produced the Dharmpal Classics 5-volume, and you get the material there easily. Those of you who want detail, go to the archive. Agriculture. When the British came, before they established their administration, they wanted to study the system, agriculture, industry, social system. And for a study, they identified 300 villages of Chola Mandalam. I think people here would know, especially those from Tamil Nadu, what is Chola Mandalam. And for 5 years, 1765 to 1770, for 5 years, they collected the documents from all the villages. And I said documents. Because in every village, there used to be an institution of Kanagapille. It used to run a family, a family tradition. Like we had carpenters, we had blacksmiths, we had jewelers, goldsmith. Similarly, there used to be Kanagapille. And the palm leaf, a meter-long palm leaf, beautifully. 12 lakhs of them are still in Tanjore, is kept in Tanjore Tamil University. In that, they made the record of village administration. How many families, what is the population, what are the crops which are produced, fruits produced, vegetable produced, pashus, the animals, the cattle folk, all the detail, water bodies, grazing grounds, everything is recorded. And there it says, the average paddy, it was a paddy field, even today. Average production of paddy, rice per hectare was 8 to 10 metric ton. Today we are just half of it. Even the most rice producing country in the world, Japan, is not anywhere close to it. They are about 6.5 metric ton. 10 metric tons. And how did they produce it? They used to have formula, what they call Jivamritam. Those of you familiar with natural farming, you would be knowing it. Jivamritam is not a chemical fertilizer. It is made of cow dung, cow urine, jaggery. Mix it water, certain proportions, and it nourishes the soil, it enhances the productivity. So, in the field of agriculture, we have food sufficient, abundant. Every field, Bharat was the prospering country. But We were conquered, we were colonized, we were crushed, and we lost. Meanwhile, as we grew on the back of technology, but when we were crushed, Europe grew on the back of technology. A steam engine gave them the power of mobility. Coupled with gunpowder, they came and conquered almost whole the world. They colonized us. A steam engine and gunpowder, this technology. They colonized the world, they prospered over it. Later, technology of electricity, telecommunication, telephone, so many of them, internal combustible engine. All these added to the growth. Technology became the power in the engine of growth. And Europe, for nearly 300 years, became the superpower of the world, economically prosperous and militarily powerful. The balance of power shifted towards the middle of 20th century. When United States of America, they got nuclear power, nuclear technology. And nuclear technology, which shifted the military balance of power and development in Europe, led to the migration of talents to America. Whole lot of technology. It created a United States materially prosperous, militarily strong. And the balance of power shifted from Europe to America. You see, what I am saying all this is the growth of civilization, the journey of human civilization have been on the back of technology. And I am coming to this importance of technology in our journey to Vixit Bharat 2047. When the balance of power shifted to US, they realized their core strength, and they kept innovating, they kept moving forward. They graduated to ICT, in information communication technology, they were the leaders. They continued maintaining the balance of power in their favor, power and prosperity. Various phases of technology. And the latest is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, my dear friends, it is a general purpose technology which has infinite potential. Some people are debating whether it's good for humanity, whether machine will start controlling humans. That debate is not irrelevant, it has a meaning. But I think as a country with a resolve that we have a destiny to fulfill, we have to be. Because every technology has created, the differential in technology has created differential in the status, the power and prosperity. The country which had the advanced technology were the prosperous, were more powerful. Technology which were, those who had denied of this, those who didn't have it, they were left behind. And every new technology has exponentially increased the differential between those who have it, those who don't have it. We have seen it at various phases. And artificial intelligence technology is something which is going to exponentially widen the divide. It is a technology that empowers an individual, empowers a nation. And in this, while those who are concerned about the future of humanity, they genuinely, some set of people should be worried about it, how to make it ethical, how to ensure that it doesn't harm the human future. And that is what we made in our AI summit, recently had in Delhi. That it must not be monopoly of some, it must be for everyone, sarvajan hitaya, sarvajan sukhaya. It is for the good of all, for the welfare of all. It must be. But we should also realize that a farmer who is empowered with AI is far more productive. A manager who is AI empowered is far more smarter. A doctor who is AI empowered is far more efficient. And in this AI journey, we don't necessarily have to replicate the model of the West, the Silicon Valley. Because this is far more expensive. We can be domain specific. A farmer need not know things which are not relevant. And if you develop an artificial intelligence model, which large language models they have developed in the Silicon Valley, which sucks in all that is there on the internet, and then it finds what is relevant to you. In the process, it consumes so lot of energy, which is not sustainable. It consumes so much of energy that it leads to all kinds of complications, including global warming. It is not affordable. It's very costly. We can create domain-specific AI. AI which is relevant for a farmer. AI which is relevant for a doctor. AI which is relevant for a particular manager of a company or any profession. Profession-specific AI which is efficient, fully efficient, and less hallucinating. Because when you have the whole world, all the written, everything on the net is in your inbox, then there are fair chances of hallucination. It is far more precise if it is domain specific. So we can think of that. That is the model that we need to work on. But the reality is that today and tomorrow, the literacy of a person will be judged by whether the person is AI literate or not. It is not gone are the days of 3 hours, reading, writing, arithmetic, you could do it, manage it. No. Those who are AI literate, AI smart, they will be able to use the instruments. And those who are not, unfortunately, they may be used by the instruments. The choice is whether you wish to rule the instrument, you wish to use the instrument, and you wish the instrument to use you. It's a very, very essential technology and very, very powerful technology. This realization that Bharat has to develop, Bharat has to grow. There is no alternative but to adopt technology as much as we can. We must saturate ourselves. So, what this Prime Minister Modi has started, you have seen how society is being made technology savvy. Our digital public infrastructure, we know it is the best in the world, enviable. The rich, the developed countries envy, and the developing countries get inspired. It has touched every person in our country. Use digital payment. We know we are in the number of digital payment transactions, we are the maximum, the highest in the world. People are doing it. Women, drone these, make them technology savvy. Rural women, they must know how to operate drone. They don't necessarily have to have a degree. They must know the technology, how to operate. And they are operating. There are thousands and thousands of them. Drone is going to be our future. It is our future. And it is how to use it. Our village folks, village women folk, they are learning it. Technology is being taken to the society at large. But technology has also to be, the core of it has to come to our students, to our academia. Government is in the education ecosystem. Friends, we have essentially 3 elements: policy, infrastructure, and implementation, whether the infrastructure is aligned with the policy. As far as the policy is concerned, National Education Policy 2020 is rich, comprehensive enough. It is a very robust policy framework. Not only that, for various domain-specific technologies and general-purpose technologies, the Government of India has created various missions. We have AI mission, we have quantum mission, we have nano mission, we have robotics mission. We have all the advanced technologies, the latest, the frontier of technology, there are missions. Research and development funds, a decent corpus has been created. Rashtriya Anusandhan Fund is more and more fund. In our own state, there are certain institutions which have become this hub, and through a spoke mode, through hub and a spoke mode, they are now spreading it, creating innovation awareness more and more. So the policy framework is there, pretty robust one. Infrastructure, yes. At the most basic level, we have educational institutions, we have schools, we have colleges, we have We have professional colleges. The need is to align these institutions with the policy. How to create creativity among the school students. We have Atal Tinkering Lab. It has started as a pilot for 10,000 schools all over the country. The target is to take it to 50,000. School students must experiment with the ideas, howsoever crazy the idea might be. Let them try, let them experiment. Let their creativity potential blossom. Every higher education institution is advised and assisted to create innovation centers, to create more and more innovation centers. Let there be more and more experiment, more and more new ideas come. Appropriate pedagogy is being created. Experiential learning is being insisted upon. Industry academia nexus is being strengthened so that the knowledge, the education that a student gets is not merely a theoretical knowledge. He or she must be able to make good use of it. As a result, we see our country. About a decade ago, where were we? We were a populous country. Demographic dividend was then also. But we were nowhere in the domain of research innovations. When we say research innovations, World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, which is its annual report, which country creates how much intellectual property. We were nowhere. Of course, China has been the leading one, followed by United States. Qualitatively, United States have been much better, but numerically. But in the last 10 years, we have acquired a decent place. There has been a quantum jump in creating intellectual property, in the number of patents. A startup, we were nowhere. A decade ago, we were not even 500 startups. Today, we are nearing about 200,000 registered startups, which are functioning. And many of them are unicorn. You know what unicorn is. So all these are showing the result. In this journey towards Vixit Bharat 2047, technology-driven journey to 2047, because there is no alternative, my friends, it has to be based on technology. And the latest technology, we must be literate, we must be familiar with that. We must be master of that. Now, in this, where are we here, where we are located? Tamil Nadu. Being this conclave being held in Chennai, is very important that we must have a reference with Tamil Nadu, the context of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has been a very progressive state, right from the beginning. In field of education, it became the leading state. In the first decade of our independence, then the visionary leaders created a vast network of schools, colleges, aided colleges. They experimented with that. That government finances were limited. Let government chip in and let private also take part in it, and created the notion of aided colleges. Midday meals, it was started here. And this lead that this state, Tamil Nadu, took in education, it gave it a quantum leap forward. Of course, the visionary leaders also created a sound base of industrialization. They did in the 50s and 60s, and subsequent governments continued building on that. Agriculture, massive number of dams were created. So this state took the lead, primarily on the back of education, good sound education, in education accessible to everyone. And it became one of the leading states in the country. In the gross enrollment ratio, our NEP 2020 dreams that their plan is that by 2035, our gross enrollment ratio in higher education should be 50%. Tamil Nadu is already 50%, my friends. It has already reached. But all is not that well. What we have seen is the rise that happened in Tamil Nadu on the back of good education. Now we are going through a relative decline. For the last 2 decades, there has been a steady relative decline. And it is primarily because the quality of education has suffered. Sir, annual status of education report, which is considered fairly reliable. Every year they publish it. For the last several years, year on year, we see our school education is, quality of school education is steadily declining. ASER report of 2024, 25 not yet out perhaps, at least I have not seen it. It shows that over 50% of students of our government high schools, they cannot read class 2 textbooks. Equal and more number cannot do simple 2-digit addition and subtraction. And yet, our result is almost centum. Almost 100% students pass. Because, unfortunately, when we say that everything is for everyone, and we believe that every student must have a certificate, must degree, if it is not backed by quality education, what you do is you lower the standard. You lower the standard. In fact, some time back, I am a chancellor of my state universities, 20 of them. Some vice chancellors came to me with a request that, look, sir, the quality of our professors are so poor that we should allow us to permit NPTEL lectures. You know, National Portal for Technologically Enabled Learning. Thousands of marvelous lectures by profound teachers. The great institutions, various disciplines are there on the NPTEL. He says that our teachers are, our professors are poor in quality. We should allow NPTEL to replace them in the classes. And the teacher will sit there in case the students have any doubt, he will be able to clear it. I say, look, if your teacher is not able to give it proper teaching, how is he able to clarify the doubt? I said, look, let them first, you see, ensure that our teachers first listen the talk, the lectures on the NPTEL portal, and then they come and teach, rather than replacing the teacher with that, because in that case, he will further add to the process of decline. So there has been a relative decline. But if you come to think of in the form of the number is very impressive. I just said, our GER is 50% plus, which is the national goal of 2035. Yes. When 100% students pass, and when it is backed by an incentive that if a student passes from a government school and goes to college will get 1,000 rupees every month. So every student who passes the government school, which they pass, they go to college, and our gross enrollment ratio increases. So look at, here is a hidden deception. Our number doesn't speak the truth, is a cause of worry. Cause of worry because we have the greatest potential. Tamil Nadu, in the Vixit Bharat, Tamil Nadu has a crucial role to play. But if the quality of education declines, then our youth dividend will not be available for us as a dividend. So while this is in the terms of gross enrollment ratio, we have gone, but the fact is our school education is poor, college education is no better. Some years back, in 2023, a policy came that every government college or every educational institution affiliated to our universities must follow a common syllabus. Some college management, their principals, directors, they came to me, they say, sir, this syllabus it puts us 10 years back. In the NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework, today some of us are figuring we will not be anywhere. Please stop it. We had to intervene, finally we could. But the point is that if you reduce this, when the world is becoming more and more competitive, if you reduce the syllabus, the quality, further diluting the quality of education. We have the distinction of having the largest number of PhD in the country. Every year we produce 6,500 approximately PhD. No other state has the claim to do that. It's very impressive. But the downside is that hardly not even 2% of them are qualified net GRF, net Junior Research Fellow, which UGC mandated minimum requirement, eligibility requirement to do the research. They are not qualified. So we produce PhD in bulk. Numbers are impressive. Quality is declining. And here we see the impact of it. Impact of it is we see in terms of our entrepreneurship, in terms of industries for their expansion. Our graduates, gold medalists, they run for job. This is not a very happy situation. We have to stem the decline. We have to improve the quality of education. Our Madras University used to be the top university in the country. It used to be in the top 5. Today it is nowhere. Because instead of having the regular faculty, qualified faculty, 70% of them are guest faculty paid 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees a month. Now, this quality of education is essential. So in our journey towards 2047, a Vixit Bharat, which has to be technology enabled, there is no alternative. There is no alternative, my friends, no alternative. Our youth have to be proficient in the latest technology, and for which our educational institutions must be equipped. We must drive towards that. We must strive towards that. And that's the way we can fulfill our dream. And as I said, Tamil Nadu has a major role to play in it. It has all the fundamentals in right place. All that is needed is insist on quality and competitiveness, and there is no force that can stop it to be the number one in the country. Today, unfortunately, we have been downsliding on all the parameters. I'm sure this conclave, this 2 days conclave, where eminent minds would come and speak to you, you all will interact among yourself. Great ideas will emerge. And it will give a new decisive impetus to our journey to Vixit Bharat 2047. Thank you very much. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.